Hey guys, hope you're well. Welcome along to the first episode of Sparky's Shed. This is me, Rob. I am a Sparky. I live in the Isle of Skye, and as well as being a Sparky in my full-time job, a husband, a father, I like to get into the shed and tinker with mainly tractors at the moment. I've fairly got into YouTube in the last few years watching videos, and I've decided to do a project which I'm going to document. Some of you might find it interesting, some of you might think I'm an idiot, but possibly both are true, who knows. You might watch me and think, why am I doing it that way? Or you might watch me and think, oh, there's a way I never thought of doing something. I am absolutely in no way, shape or form trained as a mechanic. Anything I know is through faffing about as a youngster, basically being pottering about with vehicles as far as I can remember, with my dad, my granddad, my uncles, friends, and it was actually one of my dad's friends and my own friend as well who got me into the tractors. He had a Ford 4000 that was in bits in his shed, which I thought, I'll give that a go, and then realised what actually it entails to completely do up a tractor. But I got it done, got photos and videos, I'll put them up again. But I really enjoyed doing it, and now I've decided to venture into a little bit of a crazy project, to be perfectly honest with you. But I don't know if I should tell you or if I should keep that a bit of a secret and show you further along. But it's one, every time I talk to my dad about doing it, he keeps telling me that I'm crazy. But I'm of the opinion that if not, why not? And if other people have managed to do it, then there's no reason why I can't. So here goes. I hope you enjoy watching it. This is my journey so far. I'm kind of not quite far through, but I've overhauled the Fergie engine of one of the tractors. I don't want to give too much away, but and I'm kind of at a measuring up stage, so we shall wait and see how this goes. But I hope you guys enjoy it. If you learn something, great. If you learn that I am an idiot, then please feel free not to tell me, because there's plenty of other people that will tell me that anyway. But if you learn something, great. If you enjoy watching the video, great. If not, sorry for wasting your time. Anyway, hope you enjoy. So on with the important stuff anyway. I'll give you a wee tour of my shed. It's really nothing special, just a wee escape from myself. Currently I've got 3 tractors in it at the moment. My granddad's old Fordson Super Dexter, which I was extremely kindly gifted by a friend who had restored it himself. So it is to be kept inside all the time so that it doesn't deteriorate. Use it for basically road rallies and stuff. I don't really do a lot with it. I've only got a small croft. I've also got a Ford 4000. That's probably one I do a little bit more croft work with. But again, it's been very well looked after. I got it from somebody who has had it since 1973. It's a 1970. It's been on their farm since 1973. It's been kept inside all its life. It's done 2,500 hours, and it's totally original, except it's had GCB rims with Ford 4000 centres welded into and put on, and bigger front wheels. But other than that, it's totally standard. So it could easily be put back to standard if it was wanted, but I actually prefer it looking how it is. I'll maybe take a wee tour for that and show you guys. Well, that's actually in a different shed. My shed's not big enough to hold them all. I've also got a Massey Ferguson 860 backhoe. That was kind of a deal I thought it was too good of a deal to turn down. Probably to make a bit of cash on is the plan. I need to do a wee bit of work to it. The door bottoms need welded, there's a few hoses needing fixed, just touch ups, a bit of paint as well because it's looking pretty tired. So that's just another sort of wee tartar job. So the shed that I'm in, like I said, I've got the Super Dexter, which for sentimental reasons is probably my favourite tractor. And then I've got two TEF 20 Fergies. Like I say, I've done one of the engines up already. The second one is in. It actually runs pretty well, but she's a wee bit slow in starting. I'm hoping that I'll just get away with reading the head and that will improve the starting, but I would prefer not to have to take the whole engine apart, because TEF 20s, this is the first one I've ever done, and it was a bit of a pig. Because the con rods are flat bottomed rather than the slanty ones, they won't actually come up through the cylinders, so you've got to take the crankshaft completely out to get the pistons out. So if I need to do the piston rings, I'll have to take the crankshaft out. Unless, like I said, I'm not trained, so I might be wrong, but I couldn't figure out a way anyway. If there is a way, please let me know, because I'll be delighted to hear it. So yeah, so here we go. I'll give you a wee tour, and then once I finish the tour, that will probably show you a little bit more of the actual plan of what I'm going to build and how crazy I am. So let's see it. So here we have my granddad's old Super Dexter. Like I say, the one that was gifted to me by my friend. He restored it. It was actually, like I say, my granddad's. Myself and my dad had it and planned to do it up, but at the time we had no space, no shed, no time. So my friend took it, and when he took it, I just asked him, would you kindly give me first refusal of buying it, as it was my granddad's? And he said yes, no problem. And then after he'd done it a few years down the line, he told me to come and pick it up, and it was mine to have, which was unbelievably kind of him. And like I said, this is probably my favourite tractor for sentimental values. Sitting driving on it, knowing that it was one my grandfather used to drive, I think probably a lot of people watching this will have felt the same. And it's a lot of the reason why people look for old tractors for trips down memory lane. So she's got the mechanical pump, obviously with being the Super Dexter. Wee leak in the steering box, which there's a wee bit of play in it right enough. I know there are shims that you can adjust, so I do need to have a look at that, but these are the sort of jobs that I overlook and don't get done, but I need to spend a wee bit of time on it and have a wee look. But like I say, she's inside, keeping dry, away from the rain in the north of Scotland, which is where I am, so that's her. The biggest bugbear I have with this one is that sadly I couldn't get to keep the number plate, because DVLA didn't have it on record, so it's actually just got an age-related plate. But there is the plate that was on it when I was a boy, and that'll be the plate that I always associate with it. Right, so here is Fergie number 1. See a TF20. Somebody's had to go at doing something to it before, but she's not in the best of shape. This is one I actually got from somebody local to me. They had had issues with the back end, and they actually just found another parts machine and swapped the whole back end. So I'm hoping that she'll be decent. She's not really done a lot since then. But she's reasonably all here anyway, and like I said, this one is a runner. A wee bit slow in starting, but I think we're probably all guilty of that from time to time, aren't we? So that's number 1, Fergie. You'll have to please excuse the mess in here. Like I said, my workshop's not very big, and workshop is a stretch. It's basically, that's my workbench, shelves above it, nothing too exciting, but enough space for 3 tractors just. But like I say, here is the second Fergie, and she's been off the road, this one, for at least 30 years. Again, this one came from my friend over the road, again, who he was given it at least, let's say, 28 years ago, and it had been off the road a bitty before that, so she's a bit of a task, this one, but I've redone the engine. I've not had a look at the back end, obviously, you can see that. I got these wings. I actually picked them up on a local free ad site for nothing, so absolutely delighted with them, because they're actually even like wax oiled on the inside, so an absolute victory with them. And even better, one of my mates, Donald Scott, legend, picked them up for me and delivered them so I could pick them up, save me a trek across the island, so that was even better. I don't know if the eagle-eyed of you can maybe spot what's different about this one, but you can see there. And if we come around here, this is actually my plan. Crazy, maybe, but we're going with it. We'll see what happens. So basically, I was speaking to somebody once about one of these tandem tractors, and they mentioned, oh, that's the sort of thing that so-and-so would do. And I thought, well, why don't I just give it a bash? Because yes, there's a lot involved, but if you simplify everything down and do it little by little and do bit by bit, then why not? So basically what I've done is I managed to source myself a old 3-ton dumper. I have the axles left over if they're of any use to anybody too, so feel free to get in touch. And I have butchered it into the centre pin to make a tandem tractor. Obviously it's not very pretty, looks rusty as hell, and if you actually look down here, when I was cutting it, there was quite a bit of bubbling rust here, and I was a wee bit concerned, and I thought, I don't really like that, so I'm going to cut it a wee bit back, because I don't know how thick that steel is going to be. And then I cut it to see that. Proper old school British steel, solid as a rock. So there is no doubt in my mind that this is going to be strong enough to sit that in front of it. So as you can see there, back tractor sitting in what actually used to be the back of the dumper. I had to cut the engine mounts out, and then this bit used to be where the skip was, is going to slide in under the wheel arches down here of this tractor. So if you're interested to see how I get along, how big of a mess up I make, how many mistakes I make along the way, whatever, if you're interested, press the like button, subscribe button, whatever you need to do, and come along on the journey with me, and we'll see what's what. Cheers for now.